Greetings, everyone. This is Rob Sanders with Simplilearn. Thank you for joining, and today we're going to cover social media marketing, interview questions and answers. So thanks for joining again, and here's how it's going to work. So if you have any questions to these questions or answers, feel free to just comment right below this video and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We're going to go through a series of questions and I'm going to answer those questions for you. And here's some questions you might be asked in an interview related to social media marketing. Social media marketing is very interactive. A lot of people posting information, whether it be a tweet, a post, sharing, liking, engaging, commenting. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in social media. So some of it is going to probably be good. Most of it's probably going to be good, but every once in a while, you're going to get a negative comment. So you're probably going to be asked this question: how do you respond to negative comments? Well, very simple. You got to be quick to acknowledge, okay? Don't sit on it. Don't waste time, hem and haw on how you're going to respond. You really have to acknowledge the comment and start the process of constructive engagement to turn the negative experience into a positive one. So let me just expand on that for just a second. We know you like your brand. We know you like your product. We know you're very proud. We get that. I'm proud. I like to defend sometimes my beliefs. However, you got to put that aside when it comes to social media. Why? Because everybody is watching you and everybody can read what you write. So the spotlight is on you, not necessarily the consumer, the customer who wrote the negative comment. So you really have to be cognizant here and conscientious of what you post in response. So be quick, but be constructive, because you want to turn that negative into a positive. That's really what it's starting with. So how do you do that? Well, how do you be constructive? Well, see it from the customer's point of view. Take off your ownership hat, if you will, your manager hat, and put on the customer's hat. Always look at something from somebody else's perspective. Try to understand why that person wrote that negative comment, and ask yourself how you can make it right. So if you're the customer, and you're a customer when you go to the store and buy food. You're the customer when you go to the store and buy clothes. When you buy a car, you're the customer. So ask yourself what you can do to make it right while you're thinking in the customer's perspective, or looking through their eyes, if you will. To me, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's something you have to do. Okay, so always look at it from a customer's point of view, and then take it out of the spotlight. So really, because everybody's looking at you, waiting to see how you respond. And remember, this customer that wrote the negative comment can certainly share your comments to the world. So you got to be really, really careful. I mean, how many times have we seen on YouTube, poor customer experience going viral on via video? So you just got to really be careful here. So take it out of the spotlight. So offer to resolve the customer's problems in an appropriate forum. Offer up your phone number and email. Give them a link to a feedback form, or get their email or phone number and call them. These are the best ways to really spin this into a more positive experience for the customer. I mean, at the end of the day, it could become something really small and silly, but don't make a mountain out of a molehill. If it is something small and silly, how you respond could make it into more than what it really is. So be quick, be constructive, look at it from the customer's point of view, and offer as much support as you possibly can. Okay, that's how you want to respond if somebody asks that question in an interview. Some other comments here. So keep track. Although the issue might be solved, it doesn't necessarily mean the commenter has gone away. So follow up with them. If you resolved it, follow up with them a month later. Hey, surprise them. 2 months later, give them a discount. Okay, you'd be surprised. Positivity goes a long way. And it's always nice when somebody actually follows up with you after the fact, just to make sure they want to know that you're taken care of. And then don't feed the social media trolls. Okay, so ignoring trolls across social media will make sure they don't enjoy the notoriety it brings. So don't even allow the negativity to feed itself. So that's why you really have to stay quick, constructive, look at it from a customer's point of view and just turn this whole experience into a positive experience. It's an opportunity for you to hone your skills. Okay, let's move on to another question. So somebody may ask you to give an example of a successful social media campaign. Okay, so if you're going in to interview for a social media manager job, you probably want to do your homework in advance. Look at what other people have done. So here's a good example, Spotify. You can see the Spotify ad here with Ed Sheeran. Spotify mined the search and playlist data of its user base to develop a thematic branded ad experience on billboards in 18 markets around the world. First of all, let's just take this and break it down. Ed Sheeran's popular. You can see here, be as loving as the person who put 48 Ed Sheeran songs on their I Love Gingers playlist. So messaging is everything. Okay, and then you can see what Spotify did. They mined the search and playlist data of its user base. Okay, so they try to understand their audience. Going back to email, you got to understand your audience. Okay, then they use that to develop a branded experience on different markets around the world. So they took an audience and they really marketed this around the world, okay, to something that was really hot and trendy. I'd love to see how this thing actually performed. My guess is it did perform fairly well because when you're Spotify, you're going to pick something hot and trendy to get people to react. And so to me, this seems like, just on the surface, a very successful social media campaign. Here's some other things. You can see these ads were featured on the sides of buildings, subway platforms, along busy streets. So it wasn't just digital per se. I mean, they really went full bore on the billboards. And those billboards were everywhere, on the sides of buildings. Again, in 18 different markets. So you can see it wasn't just necessarily Ed Sheeran per se, but, they had some good messaging. Enjoy green light at every red light. That's pretty cool, I guess, if you're stuck in traffic in the middle of a city. Less fake news, more fake magic. So they really took and honed in the type of music, put some good messaging behind it, and really put it out there. So it doesn't always necessarily have to, necessarily be digital per se. But what they did was they did post this on the sides of buildings and subway platforms and throughout different city streets for maximum visibility for their fans to upload to their social media. Okay, so do your homework, okay? And on this next question, you certainly want to do your homework. So if you're a social media manager, you're probably going to be involved in some Facebook advertising, okay? So this is a basic straight up question. What are some of the different types of ads you can run on Facebook? You can do single image ads. Most of us have probably seen that. You can do multi-product, lead ads, slideshows, collection ads, video ads. I mean, you got all sorts of a variety of different ad formats here. Okay, so let's take a look at these ad formats. Single image, again, most of us have seen it. Okay, it's just simply a single image that, allows you to put some text at the top, a link at the bottom, or a link to your website or your Facebook page, and a strong call to action. Okay, so Facebook has that built into their ad platform. Okay, so the ad images need to be 1200 by 628 pixels. That's a pretty nice size image. Multi-product ads. So multi-product ads are represented in carousel form. So basically it allows you, the end user, to view the range of products just by scrolling. And notice each one of these products has a call to action. So here you can see Simplilearn offering up all the different courses they have to offer. So if you have a customer that has multiple products, this is probably the way you want to go. So video ads are very popular on Facebook. So video ads usually range from a few seconds all the way up to 120 minutes. And again, video is very engaging. If you have video, use the video, okay? Because they receive about 10 to 30% more views than other forms of ads, okay? Who doesn't like engaging with video? Pretty simple. You have lead ads. So lead ads allow you to obtain user details like name, phone number, email, right in Facebook's environment. So it allows you to collect information right then and there. So lead ads can be effective if you're trying to get people to sign up for something. Slideshow. So we looked at those multi-product ads where you had the carousel. Slideshow simply just allows you to rotate different creative with nice imagery. So the key here is nice imagery. Okay, you want to put your best foot forward, choose the right imagery, just like going back to the email marketing, going back to pay-per-click. You want to use some effective ads here and images in the ads. Okay, you also have collection ads. That's another option on Facebook. So collection ads combine video, slideshow, or product images taken from your product catalog. So I would recommend this for users who want to advertise several of their products at once. Okay, again, Simplilearn has a lot of different courses, thousands of courses. So, collection ads works for them. You can see here, you got social media certification, you got PPC certification, SEO certification. Okay, these are all different certification courses you could take at Simplilearn. And they want to go ahead and promote all those courses together. So lo and behold, collection ads offers the best option here. So pay attention to those different ad formats on Facebook. Okay, next question. How can you use the holiday season for social media marketing? Well, this is a nice segue from the previous question because you have on Facebook all these different ad types. So you could change your ad placements to ones lesser used by other advertisements. You can also set up clear, simple, and compelling offers for your users. It's the holiday season, you're likely going to have some sales. And again, make sure your images have under 20% of text. Okay, that's a standard across the board. But again, you want to have nice imagery. So think about all those different ad formats on Facebook. Think about the holiday season and how you can accentuate your ads here. Okay, I'm thinking video here. I'm thinking a promotion in the video. I'm thinking a collection ad where you can run different products, maybe with a promotion with some nice imagery during the holiday season. So you definitely have a plethora of options, not just on Facebook, but across social media for the holidays, because normally you're going to have promotions. Some other things you can do to really maximize the holiday season for social media, and that's make advertisements emotionally resonate with your audience. The holiday season is a time really where you reflect on the year, you get together with friends and family, and it's religious and, it's a feel good. In some parts of the world, the weather changes. So you want to resonate on that. Okay, you want to resonate on that emotion. Okay, you always, holiday season or not, you want to monitor reports to scale successful ad campaigns. And obviously the ones that aren't performing, you want to pause. Okay, so with the holiday season, you're likely going to have an uptick in traffic, an uptick in eyeballs. So pay attention. You don't want to spend money for money's sake. So on Facebook, it's a cost per click model. So you don't want to be generating clicks without seeing any results. So go ahead and pay attention, maximize those ads that are performing and get rid of the ones that aren't. Okay, and then connect the holiday with your products or services. So again, think about which ones you're going to accentuate, which ones you're going to make more prominent during the holiday season. And again, thinking back to the Facebook ad types, I'm thinking carousel or collection ads. If you can really pump up some of your products and have a nice promotion with them, you can run some nice collection ads on Facebook. Okay, moving on to the next question. So somebody may ask you, hey, how do you make content go viral? Okay, I always wondered that myself. How does content go viral? It's a great question. So really, you're not necessarily in control, but you can certainly do some things to make it more appealing for the end user to go ahead and share it. I mean, that's what going viral is, right? A lot of people sharing it, because the more people that share, the more people are going to look and find it just as enticing, and they're going to turn around and share it. So how do you start that process, really, is what it comes down to. Well, create short form content. Short form content is more likely to go viral. In other words, a 10-minute video is probably not going to resonate with somebody. Something cute, funny, interesting, unique, out of this world in 15-30 seconds is probably going to go viral. So what does that mean? Make the visual content like images and video. It works better than bodies of text. So make sure those images and video are really compelling. And then run giveaways to draw attention and generate brand awareness and engagement. So you can always incentivize your users with a giveaway or some type of promotion, that's going to maybe pique somebody's interest. Share it with 100 friends and get 10% off, as an example. So these are some of the things you can do to make it go viral. Of course, if you're trying to get something to go viral, you definitely want to monitor behavior and then tweak once you figure out how it's performing. Okay, you may have chosen the wrong images. You may have the wrong promotion. You may find that the content's a little bit longer than you probably like, and you may want to cut it down. Some other things you could do here is use some trending hashtags and topics on your post. So ride that wave, if you will. For any surfers in the audience, hey, two people can ride the same wave. So if you got a trending hashtag, use that hashtag with that video or post. And you can always ask users to interact, okay? So you can always ask them to like or share, especially if they're your audience. Because when somebody actually shares it, that means they're sharing it with somebody else who also has an audience. So that's a quick way to get the ball going, so to speak, the ball bouncing. Okay, so next question. Which industries perform better with different platforms? Great question. There's a lot of different social media platforms. You got your most popular ones all the way down to your least popular ones. I mean, let's face it, social media platforms are also geographic. So some social media platforms are more popular in, say, the United States than, say, India or Russia, and vice versa. We know China has a lot of different social media platforms that most Americans in the United States don't even use. So you got to keep that in mind, but we're not talking about geography, we're talking about industry. So you got to also think about industry here. So generally with Facebook, it's usually food and beverage, news and media, e-commerce. Those are the types of industries that you might tend to see on Facebook. When we talk about e-commerce, it could be clothing, it could be restaurant. Okay, selling, or it could be a food company selling, foods and beverages. You also have Instagram. So Instagram tends to be more beauty, food and beverage, e-commerce. So when we talk about beauty, we're talking about clothes, we're talking about makeup, maybe shoes, dresses, unique styles. I see a lot of that on Instagram. And then LinkedIn, for example, generally works with, for me, I look at LinkedIn as B2B. Okay, so anything, interesting in a specific industry, you're probably going to see some news items and updates on that. Tips and best practices, and of course, jobs. A lot of recruiters on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn's a good place for you to really put yourself out there to find that job you seek, that social media manager job. Okay, so here's a breakdown, if you will, of the top 5. Again, in the United States, for those users who are watching this from another country, you may find, I'll be interested if you could get some feedback here, in the comment section of the video. Go ahead and put the social media platform you use in your country. And generally, what do you see on that platform? Do you see food and beverage? Do you see gaming or entertainment? Do you see e-commerce? So share your thoughts and knowledge with the rest of us. So next question, how would you measure social media marketing success of an organization? And this is a likely question, a question you're likely going to get, okay? How do you measure success? And that's across the board, not just social, but PPC, email marketing, display, affiliate. So really, you're always going to have the right answer if you talk and think about conversion. So with conversions, about tracking content downloads or sales or registrations or lead gen or form submissions, anything where you're going to get something in return. Okay, so to me, that's the general answer here. How do we measure success? Well, it always depends on strategy. But if you're trying to get a sale from Instagram based on your beauty product, or you got a promotion you're running on Facebook and you're running a lead form type ad, okay, are you getting people to enter in details on the form submission? So you always want to track conversions from that perspective. Okay, you also have engagement. Okay, so your strategy may not be conversion. Maybe your strategy is simply brand awareness and engagement. You want to know how many people participate in the conversation, for example. You may post something that's really, hot trend. It's trending, it's political, it could be business, it could be a world affair. You want to be able to measure how many people react. How many people comment, reply, repost, retweet, share, like, etc. So engagement metrics vary across different social media platforms, but basically when it comes to engagement, you can measure it. It just has to align with the right strategy. You also have awareness. Again, if you're just simply in it for brand awareness, okay, it's all about how many people are actually looking at it, the total volume of people, okay, and how widely your message is spreading. Okay, what's the reach? It could also be just simply traffic to your website. So you can certainly track traffic to your websites by clicks or shares. So it doesn't always have to be about conversion or engagement. It can simply, hey, we want to drive traffic to the website. So 37, what are some things to focus on when advertising on Twitter? Okay, you can advertise on Twitter. Whether you knew that or not, now you know Twitter is a platform where you can pay for advertising. So what do you want to focus on when you do advertise on Twitter? Well, you want to emphasize urgency to make sure users take immediate action. You want to express discounts and percentages. Why? Well, because you're limited in what you can say on Twitter. You want to avoid using hashtags that don't pertain to your brand and product. I know that may sound like common sense, but remember, you're advertising in here. So you got to be really, really, really careful because you're paying. You're paying for somebody to either look at that ad or click on that ad. So some other things you want to keep focus on is your ad copy. It's got to be short and to the point, and then make sure your ads are mobile friendly. Again, just like most social media platforms, Twitter's no different. People are looking at Twitter on their mobile phones. So video ads should have subtitles, images in the proper ratio. So you always want to think mobile. Mobile, because most people are using mobile on their mobile phones, whether that be in the browser or via an app. Okay, next question. How can you use social media to promote your event? Okay, so you got an event coming up. I want to promote it. So you're going to turn to social media, and the first thing you do is have affiliates, fans, and attendees share resources about the event. Okay, leverage your community, in other words. Okay, you can remarket the event to potential attendees using Facebook ads. So you can do remarketing, and remarketing is basically, hey, somebody who's seen it or been there or done that, you're retargeting those people. You can use photos of attendees in social updates. So depending on the event, you can have some really high profile attendees speaking at the event or just attending the event. So use photos to drive excitement about the event. Okay, you can create a uniform hashtag that can be shared across multiple channels. You can mention the event, all social media bios, so don't just limit it to one. Cross promote it on Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. And what you could do is, if you've run other events in the past, create a highlight reel from prior events. Show people, hey, your events are the events you must attend. They're the go-to events because they're popular, they're successful, good attendees, usually good attendance. And then some other things you could do here, share behind the scenes visual content. And again, you could share pictures of guest speakers along with their quotes. Okay, so you want to do everything possible at your disposal, especially on social media, to really pump up the event. Next question, how can you perform A/B testing on your ads? So for those of you that listen intently on the email marketing part, remember, A/B testing is key with email marketing. What do we test in an email? We're testing subject lines, we're testing layout, we're testing call to action. So the same thing here on social media. You want to do continuous A/B testing to figure out what works and doesn't work. It's very simple. The great thing about Facebook is they got an A/B test feature built in. So you can certainly test different ads. Great thing about Facebook I like is that you can simply start out with an ad by running an A/B test. You could simply test the imagery. It could be a male versus a female. You could test the call to action. A lot of things you could test. So things you can change are, again, color of the elements. You could change the positioning. You could change the audience you're targeting, the call to action. I mean, everything, because the whole point is you want to see which one works, which one doesn't work. So testing can be done initially on broader elements and then smaller, finer details like statements in your ad copy. So you could start out big just by testing the imagery. And so if the female tends to work better than the male, then you know what works in terms of imagery. Well, take the next step and start honing in on, say, the message. And then once you figure out what message works, then you can move to the next element like CTA. Some interesting questions you may get include, what are some things to focus on when setting up your ad creative? This goes back almost to the A/B testing. You want to use ad creative that's attention grabbing and relevant for your business. So use a primary but bold color scheme. So you also want to stay away from clip art. Okay, so again, align your imagery really is important on social media. Don't use some basic cheap clip art. You don't necessarily always have to use stock imagery either. I mean, it could be imagery you took that's very relevant and unique to your product. But if you do that, don't use low resolution pixelated images. Use images that are well lit. So decide on the aesthetic you want for your creative. Clean and minimal or colorful and vibrant. It really depends on the advertisement, what it is you're trying to promote. Okay? So some other things to focus on here: to create attention grabbing ads, show images of people benefiting from your product. And Coca-Cola has done this forever. When have you never seen a Coca-Cola commercial with somebody with a smile on your face drinking a bottle of Coke? I don't think I've ever seen an advertisement. So when it comes to food, you should always have somebody in there enjoying the food. If it comes to clothes, you should have somebody looking like they really enjoy wearing these clothes and they look great in them. You want to accentuate that with, some nice coloring, sticking with your brand guidelines. Okay, so imagery really is important here. So you do need to make sure the ad works for your brand without requiring explanatory copy. The image should basically speak for itself. If you have any questions, feel free to visit us at Simplilearn.com. I want to thank you for hanging in there, and good luck, and we'll see you on the next video.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.